See, in this part, we will look at more details of the medallion architecture. This is an architecture which is very important in the lake house world. If you have not seen the introduction video on medallion architecture, please do that. See, there are a lot of times where I felt that data warehouse and medallion architecture, if data warehouse was already there and it had multi-layered approach, data warehouse, we get the data, put it into a landing zone, then do some transformation and put it in a staging layer, and then finally we create a data mart or a data warehouse. So three layers are already there. With medallion architecture, the first thing that was told to me is that we create three layers. Okay. So what are the three layers? There are layers like uh, we have bronze, we have silver, and we have gold. There are three layers. I'm trying to explain you in a very basic term so that you understand and it will be in your memory. There are three layers: bronze, silver, and gold. Now let us look at this one. The core concept of layering is similar. So can it be called old wine in a new bottle? Maybe, but there are some differences between the two. See, Medallion architecture, people say this is an evolution of the layered approach. It is not same as the layered approach in data warehouse. Why? Because this one is designed specifically for higher data volumes, big data processing. Okay, and that is why it is more apt for data lake and lake house solutions. See, in layman's term, you read this layman's term. The basic idea of cooking is heat is the same, but see, earlier you were using gas, gas furnace, but now if you make use of induction cookers, it is an improvement. Now you might say, okay, it is the same thing. Why should I use? But it is an improvement. You get speed, and it is efficient compared to open fire style of cooking. Similarly, medallion architecture it brings lot of improvement in the context of modern data challenges. See, traditional warehouse landing, staging, process layer is there. Medallion architecture, it has similar layers for data lakes, big data processing, but there are differences. This is the first difference. In this part, we will only look at one difference. We will post other parts for other differences. So, what is the difference? It is very elastic. It scales horizontally. Data warehouse solutions scales vertically. This guy scales horizontally. So it can handle massive data volumes. Like you have a piece of land and you have two storied building. Now you expand it to 100 story. But what beyond that? But if you expand horizontally and each plot of land you keep building 100 story, you can accommodate so many people. So that is called horizontal scale. So whether you have high velocity data streams, massive big data, it works there. The architecture, it leverages distributed computing framework. So what is the specialty of this? Simple thing, parallel processing, parallel processing, parallel processing. Okay. And that is why it is efficient. Let me give you an example. You know, there are sporting events like IPL in cricket, or you have football Premier Leagues or Wimbledon, etc. Okay. So imagine that there is a social media app for Wimbledon and user activity spikes. See, when Alcaraz is playing or Djokovic is playing, uh, it is Djokovic, not so when Djokovic is playing. So it is kind of people are very much interested. So number of users spikes. Okay, so how does Medallion architecture help you there? So you are making use of distributed computing. So that means horizontally it can spin any number of servers. First thing, that is the advantage of Medallion architecture. Second is Each server processes portion of data stream. So real-time data is coming and it is getting relayed. And because of elastic scaling, people don't uh, see buffering and etc. Those problems are not there, timeout or buffering. So it can manage peak demands also. So now the question comes is okay, if we are doing this, traditional data warehouse we were using Oracle or Netezza, Teradata. Now here, what are we using? Technologically, under the hood, what are the components? How is it possible now? See, this is the entire list. This will be useful for you even in your project work. See, Apache Spark is used, Hadoop is used, Flink is used as a part of distributed computing framework. So, like we spoke, there are three layers: bronze, silver, and gold. You can use Spark in all three layers. You use Hadoop in the bronze layer. This is only for raw data, gets the raw data simple. Flink you leverage for silver and gold layers. Like if you have real-time ingestions or you want to apply transformations, you can use it. And then automation, how are you providing automation? Airflow, you integrate Airflow so that it will keep executing the jobs automatically, and that is used for orchestration. And then you use Kubernetes because we spoke about there can be million users logging in at the same time. So you use Kubernetes for high scalability. This is one way of doing it. There can be so many other ways. This is one way of doing it. Okay, now what about storage solutions? In the previous slide, we looked at compute solution. But what about storage solution? So you use cloud object storage like AWS S3 or Azure Blob Storage for raw bronze layer. You use Delta Lake for silver layer. What does the silver layer contain? It contains clean or conformed data. Then you use either Snowflake, Redshift, Synapse type of solutions for highly structured aggregated data. This is called the gold layer. You can use this for analytics, or you can also use the silver layer for self-service analytics. So, what is our total workflow? Uh, so, we looked at what is the advantage of Medallion architecture, what is how the components are layered. We looked at horizontal scaling. We looked at storage solution, compute solution. Now, using all of this, how the workflow will look like. So this is how the workflow will look. Sporting event starts. Your high velocity data streams, it starts coming in. It may be in the form of what user interactions or sensor data and etc. Now Flink is running on Kubernetes and it starts ingesting and processing this data stream. This raw data stored in object storage bronze layer. Then Flink performs initial transformations, writes the data to Delta Lake. Analysts can use this to understand the user engagement. At the end of the event, platform scales down, Flink instances are reduced. Now Airflow jobs aggregate all the data in Delta Lake and load it in warehouse, gold layer. From there, you can do your reporting analysis. This is the overall workflow. Okay, so we looked at one use case and an example around it. We will post many more such parts. Please subscribe to this channel.